What's up, airplane collectors? Welcome to a model airplane review to your host, Ray. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the Gemini 200 United Airlines Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner. In this video, I'll talk about the box and the model itself, and at the end of the video, I will give my personal opinion about what I think of the model and whether or not I recommend it to other collectors. This is going to be a pretty long review, so sit back, relax, let's get this started. Starting off with the box, it's pretty big and it's made out of cardboard at 34 centimeters height-wise and length-wise and 12 centimeters wide. I'll show you around the box now, so here's the front, bottom, right side, top, left side, and the back side. Take a moment to read this if you'd like to. I believe this box has a flap. Yes, it does. This box has a flap where you can see the model inside the box. Under the flap, you can see the story of the Boeing 787 series and some specifications on this specific aircraft. Take a moment to read this if you'd like to. Included in the box is the model, fully assembled, painted, and ready to go, a metal display stand, and two options for landing gear configuration. For the most of the review, I will have the model with the landing gear in the extended configuration, but I will demonstrate what the landing gear looks like in the retracted configuration later in the video, so stay tuned for that. And here's what the model looks like on the included display stand. The included display stand, as I mentioned earlier, is made entirely out of metal, with the base being painted that color to simulate wood. The stand overall is pretty good. It fits the model well, it's sturdy, and there is no risk of the model falling over and being damaged. So unless you want a different flight position or stand position, I recommend the stand that is included with this model. And here's the model itself. I'll give you a quick 360 before I start my review. Fuselage length for this model is 34 centimeters, wingspan is 30 centimeters, and it's 9 centimeters tall. Accurate to 1 to 200 scale, it's a pretty big bird, and it's also pretty heavy for its size because it is made primarily out of die-cast metal. Starting up the review with the fuselage, we'll start at the nose of the plane. Nose profile looks pretty good. The tip here might be a hair bit pointy, but it's not terrible. We've got lots of printed detail up here as well, which looks pretty good. Overall, so far so good, just the nose might not be perfect, but it's well within acceptable margins. There's our giant United title, looks pretty good. Take note of all the printed detail. There's some sort of stain there. There's a few stains here and there on this model, and a bit of inconsistency with the paint on the printed detail, but overall pretty small things. And just kidding. Alright, so we see some paint spidering from the, I think it's called, I forget which blue this is. I think this is called Rhapsody Blue. We got some of the paint spidering up from there, so it's only in that section, but still not good to see. And the wing is hitting the camera stand. Sorry about that. But aside from that, everything else seems to be pretty good. Printed detail looks good. Okay, something a bit finicky with that window up there. Oh, that's just hair. Yeah, just small inconsistencies and small imperfections so far. Nothing too worrying or concerning. And we got the rear of the aircraft here. Nice door there. Overall, so far, nothing terrible. Here's our big and beautiful vertical stabilizer. Take a moment to look at this. Details up here seem to be pretty good. The paint colors seem good. The color fade from the black to the light blue seems good. This could be a hair bit lighter, I think. I'm not really sure, but it still looks really good nonetheless. We've got some lines here, lines of detail, which are rather interesting. I haven't seen that before, but they are accurate, so and it is intentionally printed on there, so good job on them for that. And the rudder is visible. It is kind of hard to see with the way the camera's positioned. Actually, no, you guys can see that pretty easily. But the rudder looks pretty good. Vertical stabilizer looks good so far. Alright, so here's the right side of the fuselage. I won't provide as much commentary because it's virtually the same as the left side, except for a few stains here on the fuselage. There's a stain right here and right here. I can probably fix those, but the model is stained there. Now I'm looking along the fuselage, and I don't see any of the paint issues that I saw on the left side. Either that or they're just too small for me to see with the naked eye. I do see a few scratches, or stains here and there, but again, small things, but it's kind of starting to add up just a little bit. Moving on to the wings look pretty good on this model. There's all sorts of details on there. The leading edge slats look pretty good with their metallic paint, won't complain about that. Printed detail looks pretty good as well, and the control surfaces are clearly defined. As you can see, there's no spots with paint overfilling them. So overall, very good. Wingtips look very good and very sharp as well, so no complaints there. The wing seams with the fuselage look really good as well, so very good job on Gemini's part for the wing. Underside of the wing, there's not that much to see down here, but overall, everything appears to be fine and dandy. Here's the rear section of the airplane. Horizontal stabilizers look pretty good, no complaints there. Details are clearly outlined and very well done. APU seems to be pretty good. Paint seems to be pretty good back here as well. A little bit of an inconsistency with the line here in terms of the thickness, but nothing bad at all. APU is very nicely shaped and clearly defined. And down here, we don't have anything to complain about. All looks good so far. Moving on to the engines. The engines on this model are pretty good. Overall, the profile looks good. The way they attach to the wings is smooth, and I have no complaints about that. The exhaust nozzle looks really nice with the different shades of metallic gray all over it. Very good job so far. And the thing that gets me the most here is the fans, and the details on this thing are very nice. And they do spin. If you give it a blow, they will spin. So very good job on Gemini's part for that. The undersides of the engines have lots of printed detail on them as well, so Gemini definitely did not slack on details with this model. Moving on to aerial details, we're going to go for the ultra-high zoom here. This model features sat domes, antennas, and light gems. Here's one of the light gems on the top forward section of the fuselage. Actually, let me just zoom that out so you can see where it is. So yeah, we're up here. That looks pretty good, very nice. It's a signature Gemini 200 feature, so nothing crazily out of the ordinary. And here we've got a large antenna and a sat dome. Both of these are pretty good. They're aligned nicely and they're stood up straight and aligned with the center of the aircraft, so no complaints. And moving at the rear of the fuselage, we have a large antenna here and a small antenna there. These are pretty good as well, no complaints. On the underside of the aircraft, we also have another 3D light right here. This looks good. And towards the rear section of the underside, we've got another big antenna. It's got some paint shipping on it, but it's really not anything too crazy. This is a very small part, so in their defense, it might be hard to ensure quality on that. But so far, looks pretty good. It's fit on there quite nicely. Moving on to the landing gear for this model. The landing gear on this model are interchangeable, as I mentioned earlier, and all three of them are attached through magnetic attachments. Here are the main gears, so I'm just going to pull one off and show you its features. Very nicely detailed with the landing gear. If my camera would focus, that'd be great. There we go. The details are pretty good. Something definitely happened with the paint on this one, though, because I can see a lot of flaking and a lot of caked paint on different parts. So it's not perfect, but they're still pretty good. The wheels do roll and they pivot, which is very nice. And the magnetic attachment is sturdy and consistent, so I won't complain about that too much. This landing gear looks from the left side, this is the left side of the aircraft, looks a little bit better, but the one that I just showed you isn't exactly the best. The nose landing gear is pretty good as well. It fits onto the plane quite nicely. Usually these pivot, however mine doesn't. It's stuck for whatever reason, so I'm kind of forced to live with it like that. If I twist it hard enough, I'll probably break it, but at least I'll free it. So yeah. The wheel rolls, looks pretty good. Got a few what appear to be gaps for where the gems used to go, so I guess there's that. But the nose gear is pretty good, and as you can see, it does fit with a magnetic attachment. And whoa, what is that? Looks like we got either a stain or a paint chip there. It looks like a paint chip. Interesting. You can't see it from the outside, but it is in the gear bay there. So now I'm going to demonstrate what the landing gear looks like with the retracted covers in position. So I'll get the extended landing gear out. So here are what the retracted covers look like. I'll try my best to figure out how I'm supposed to attach these, because I usually screw this up. I'll get that second one in there. Looks good. And the one for the nose, which way is this supposed to go? Look at that. Okay, so the landing gear covers, they fit very nicely. Wow. Okay, you can kind of see the paint chip I was referring to there, but the nose gear cover fits fantastically, as do the ones on the wings. So very good job on Gemini's part for doing that. And included are 2 plastic parts to help you remove these covers if you choose to remove them. You just gotta give a very light push and they come right on out. Here's a view at the front of the plane. Here we can evaluate gear balance, engine clearance, all that fun stuff. Engine clearance looks pretty good. It might be a little bit low, but still looks pretty good, well within acceptable margins. Gear balance seems to be pretty good as well. I don't see anything really misaligned with it. Wing flex seems to be balanced as well for both the main wings, horizontal stabilizers, and the vertical stabilizer seems to be perfectly aligned as well. Cockpit windows might be ever so slightly tilted a little bit, but it's really nothing. So overall, very good job up here. And with that, my review comes to an end. Now, before I give you my personal opinion recommendation, the aircraft that I was reviewing in this video is the one on the left. The one on the right is another 1:200 scale 787, but that one is the 787-9 Dreamliner released in February of 2021. So yeah, two different models, even though they look very similar. So as for the 787-10 in this video, overall, I'm pretty impressed with it. There were a few small nitpicks that I had, like stains and stuff, and that's not something usually consistent through an entire batch of models. Aside from that, everything was really good. So therefore, I absolutely recommend the model to anyone who wants one. It's a solid plane, details are pretty good, quality control seems to be on par with today's competition, so if you want one, go for it. It's a beautiful plane and a beautiful model. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more model airplane content. Like, comment, and subscribe. Happy building, happy collecting. Take care of yourselves. See you next time. Mr. Mustard Man, you better not peer pressure me into getting more planes, I swear. Take care.